Camden County, Georgia. Blasting down the shoulder, screaming past Saturday commuters, this stolen Buick tears up a Georgia highway. Just minutes ago, the driver pulled away from a service station without paying. Usually an absent-minded mistake that most drivers are happy to correct. But the way this hellion chews up the asphalt, there must be more than a $20 tank of gas at stake. The officer hangs tight as they barrel into the service lane. He tries to get a read of the plates, but there's only a temporary dealer's tag, which tells him nothing about the driver's identity. All the sergeant knows is that the suspect has a full tank of gas and a full head of steam. The pursuing sergeant's siren moves traffic to the right, but the suspect again slices up the breakdown lane. Drivers don't know which way to turn. The Buick cuts off hapless drivers as it swings wildly back into the fast lane. But when the road ahead jams up, the gas thief returns to the one open avenue. The pursuing officer knows he's the only unit around. Boxing this maniac in is not an option. As the fugitive hammers down the shoulder, the sergeant makes the decision to take out the suspect by himself. If the Buick enters a vacant length of highway, and if the officer can get close enough, the sergeant can end this chase quickly. The officer squeezes more power from his engine. Moments later, the crook pulls into the clear. Topping 110, the sergeant inches closer to his target. But slower drivers ahead compel the officer to drop back, and the suspect escapes once again down the shoulder. The road's too crowded for the officer to get ahead. Every attempt is cut off by unknowing vehicles in the line of fire. The suspect sees a construction zone and tries to lure the officer into a crash. He then desperately dodges between vehicles. Other drivers are thrown into confusion. Disaster seems imminent, but he pulls out, almost ramming the police car. In his desperate bid to gain more distance, the suspect miscalculates, but somehow manages to pull back onto the road. Pushing the speedometer to a hair-raising 120 miles an hour, every ounce his engine can muster, the officer moves in to cut the suspect off a second time. But traffic ahead again forces him to fall back. The suspect sees his familiar escape route open. He shoots for it and floors the gas. But then, the officer's worst fear comes true. The gas thief thought he could pull the same move he tried a dozen times before. But when a truck pulls aside, he skids out of control and slams into the sedan. The family of four is shaken, but thankfully, no one is injured. The officer takes the suspect into custody and confirms the civilians are okay. While assistance arrived, the sergeant interrogates the driver. Unbelievably, the stolen gas was his only reason to run. Any one of these drivers could have been the victim of this maniac's insanity. Hearing a siren, most civilians will pull onto the shoulder, which is exactly where this madman tried to make his escape. For this family of four, a peaceful drive on a Saturday afternoon turned into a moment of living hell. And all for $20 worth of gas.